time there was a beautiful princess. And even before her first birthday, she was everything a princess ought to be. She had beautiful, silky, golden hair, cheeks that were red and pink like apple blossoms, and clear, sapphire blue eyes. She didn't cry like other children, except to be fed, and even then she didn't screw up her face and wail. She just made a sort of sad, burbling noise. She was beloved by all the kingdom. Well, almost all. You know, it's hard to say what drove the old woman to it. Hard to know if she meant it as a prophecy or a curse. But when the old hag burst into the child's naming ceremony, it was a scandal to be certain. The guards who had somehow let her in spent the rest of their lives mucking out the stables. The baron who had appointed those guards fell far from favor and came to court seldom after that. And the old woman, well, you know, it's strange now I come to think of it. No one can ever seem to recall exactly what happened to the old woman, although they all recall her words that day. Before her 18th birthday, the princess will prick herself on a spindle and fall into a sleep so deep it mirrors death. She will sleep for 100 years and all the court will slumber with her. Everyone agreed the woman was mad as the March hare. And yet, no one thought it odd or questioned the king when he had spinning wheels and spindles banned from his kingdom. Time passed, and the perfect infant grew into a perfect young woman. She was beloved by her family, by her household. There was hardly a moment to herself where she wasn't dancing or hunting or otherwise entertaining the members of her household. And yet, on the eve of her 18th birthday, she found herself alone and wandering the many corridors of her palace home. And somehow, on this day, although she'd lived there all her life and would have sworn she knew each and every stone of the palace, she found herself at the base of a staircase that spiraled up and up and up. She mounted the stone steps, eager to learn what final secrets her palace home might hold. And at the top of the spiraling staircase, she found a small chamber containing only a bed and an old woman sitting at a spinning wheel. She didn't know the old woman, didn't recognize her from court or as a servant. Good day. What are you doing here? I'm spinning, said the old woman. And the girl, noticing the strange device beneath the old woman's hands for the first time, said, "What is that strange thing dancing round so merrily?" And as she spoke, she reached out and pricked her finger on the spindle and fell instantly asleep. All throughout the castle, men, women, children, and beasts fell without warning into slumber. The kitchen maids snored into the pots they were scrubbing. The king and queen slumped upon their thrones. The horses slept within their stalls. Even the flies upon the walls ceased to crawl. A briar hedge grew up around the castle with unnatural speed. And within a day, the castle was obscured from sight. Those outside the castle wall tried, of course, to get in, find out what had happened, save the royal family. But anyone who attempted to enter was scraped and torn and caught upon the briars until they could not move in any direction. And so many lost their lives. Days passed, weeks, months, years. And the story of the briar-ridden palace and the beautiful princess fell into legend, as these things are wont to do. But early in the 99th year of the princess's slumber, a young man came to the kingdom, and, learning of this story, was determined to see the briar princess for himself. And like so many men before him, he he was never heard from again. But one wonders if perhaps the enchantment was not beginning to fade, if perhaps this young man was not caught in the briar wall, but was instead admitted entry to the palace. If he perhaps found the beautiful princess, utterly untouched by time. Might an amorous young man not steal a kiss? And having done this, might he not steal another? Having taken these liberties, might he not caress the delicate curves of her body? The smooth, supple skin between her thighs? Having taken these liberties, might he not take just one or two more? Certainly it would explain the condition in which the princess woke. Her skirts, wet and warm, in pain, like her courses come 1,000 times at once, and her belly round with child.